Hey y'all, I am back with another sponsored video. This one is about Fran Drescher, and she is basically a good example of the light side of Libra. This video has been sponsored by Matt. Thank you, Matt, for sponsoring this video. Matt wants to know, she's had trauma in her life, having been the victim of a violent crime and battling cancer, but has seemed to move past this as best as she could. She also was married to a man who was actually gay for like 20 years, but they divorced and remained friends. I feel she's more light-sided given her comedy history and being such a style icon. I was able to find her chart here. Libra rising makes sense given her looks and charm. Also, it's in positive aspect to her Sagittarius Saturn, which I would think is why she aged so gracefully. Actually, it's her Mercury in Virgo in sextile with her Venus in Scorpio that has her aging so gracefully. So let's get into her numerology. So her birth number is 30, that breaks down to 3. And 30 is the number of loner meditation. So even if Fran wants to be in relationships, it's still necessary that she spends a good amount of time alone. Freedom is a major theme of that 30 as well as 3. And also the meditation part that deals with the spiritual side of that 30 birth number. Intelligent, wealth, humor, comedy, understanding, very forgiving, generosity, truth, freedom. Her life path number is 7, and this 7 represents her film career and her career in Hollywood, compassion, charity, sacrifice, lies, deception, and theft, victimization as well. So here is her chart. She was born September 30th, 1957 at 7:28 a.m. in Queens, New York. She's a Libra rising, as Matt said, with Jupiter rising in Libra in the 12th house. She has Neptune and Scorpio in that first house. North Node conjoined to Venus in Scorpio in the second, Saturn and Sagittarius in the second, Moon in Capricorn in the third, Chiron in Aquarius in the fourth, Black Moon Lilith in Pisces in the fifth, South Node in Taurus in the eighth, Uranus in Leo in the 10th, and Pluto in Virgo in the 11th, Mercury in Virgo in the 12th, Mars and the Sun in Libra in the 12th as well. Background. Francine Joy Drescher was born on September 30th, 1957 in Queens, a borough of New York City, the younger daughter of Sylvia Drescher, born 1934, a bridal consultant, and Morty Drescher, a naval systems analyst. So, in terms of the mother's career, she was a bridal consultant, and that's represented by Venus and North Node in Scorpio, trine, Cancer, midheaven, because Scorpio is the consultant of the zodiac. Saturn in Sagittarius, ruler of the fourth house, trine Jupiter in the 12th, ruler of the sixth, is representing her father's career as a naval systems analyst. And she has Pisces on the sixth, where Jupiter is ruling that sixth through Pisces. Pisces deals with the Navy, sixth house deals with analysts. Her family is Jewish from Southeast and Central Europe. She has an older sister, Nadine. So the fact that her family is Jewish is represented by Capricorn on the fourth house cusp. Drescher was a first runner-up for Miss New York Teenager in 1973. So she has Venus and the North Node in Scorpio, trine Black Moon Lilith in Pisces in the fifth, and Pisces represents pageants. Fifth house is competitions. Beauty school. Drescher and Jacobson was her ex-husband, attended Queens College, City University of New York, but dropped out in their first year because all the acting classes were filled. Then they enrolled in cosmetology school. So her dropping out is represented by Black Moon Lilith in Pisces, squaring Saturn in Sagittarius. And the Black Moon Lilith in Pisces in the fifth house in particular is representing her wanting to take acting classes, and her dropping out because they were all full. Saturn in Sagittarius is representing her college. Mercury, ruler of the ninth in Virgo, in the 12th, trine Venus in Scorpio in the second is representing her attending cosmetology school. 12th house deals with cosmetology. Venus is also dealing with cosmetology, especially in terms of beauty and style. Jupiter and Libra in the 12th is also representing her going to cosmetology school as well, especially with her husband. So she married her high school sweetheart, and they were like attached at the hip. And it makes sense considering her chart. So she attended Flushing's Parson Junior High School, which later dissolved, and then Hillcrest High School in Jamaica, Queens. There she met her future husband, Peter Mark Jacobson, whom she married in 1978 at 21. So the fact that she married her high school sweetheart is dealing with the fact that the sun is conjoined to Jupiter in Libra, and Jupiter is ruling that third house. Third house is school, and the sun and Jupiter are conjoined to the Libra ascendant. So it was almost a guarantee that she would end up marrying her high school sweetheart with that hookup. Also, she has Juno and Gemini, trine Jupiter and Libra ascendant. Juno is an asteroid that deals with relationships, including marriages. After separating in 1996, Drescher and Jacobson divorced in 1999. They had no children. Drescher has worked to support LGBT rights issues after her former husband came out. So Fran has the 13th degree of Aries on the seventh house cusp. And with the seventh house dealing with one's partner, that can deal with where she got with a man who was gay, because the 13th degree can represent the LGBTQ community. Also, Mars, ruler of her seventh house, is conjoined to her sun in Libra, which can deal with her husband having secret affairs with men, or where he has a secret attraction to men. Venus and North Node in Scorpio, squaring Chiron in Aquarius. This can be representative of Fran not being sexually gratified in her marriage, but also her marriage partner being gay, but being uncomfortable with coming out of the closet. Also, her ascendant is conjoined to Sappho in Libra. Sappho is an asteroid that represents the homosexual community. Fran has Aquarius on the fifth house cusp, with Uranus and Leo squaring the nodes, which can represent her getting with a gay lover. And her Mars is conjoined to Zanaya, and Zanaya is a fixed star that can pertain to adultery and prostitution. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did commit adultery with men while he was married to Fran, and he might have even resorted to getting with some male prostitutes. So that 12th house stellium makes Fran utterly devoted. So Drescher has stated that the primary reason for the divorce was her need to change directions in life. Drescher and Jacobson remain friends and business partners. She has stated, "We choose to be in each other's lives in any capacity. Our love is unique, rare, and unconditional, unless he's being annoying." So this is represented by her sun, Jupiter, and ascendant in Libra, trining her Chiron and Aquarius in the fourth. So this is representing how they can still be friends even though they've gotten a divorce, and that they're still business partners. And that unconditional part, that's dealing with that Chiron in the fourth. So This was an interesting tidbit of information that I didn't know about until I was preparing for this video. So I had no idea that Fran Drescher was in Saturday Night Fever, and I love this movie. I've seen it so many times, and all this time I did not know that she had a small little role in this movie. So this was really a joy to learn. So Drescher's first break was a small role as dancer Connie in the movie Saturday Night Fever, in which she delivered the line, "So are you as good in bed as you are on the dance floor?" to John Travolta's character. So this is represented by Saturn in Sagittarius in her second house, trining Uranus in Leo in her 10th, with Saturn representing Saturday. Now, transiting Mars was on her Uranus the day that this film was released. Also, transiting Chiron and Taurus was in trine with her Pluto and Virgo. So you could look at this transit as her ability to make more money, to get more work as a result of this brief little role. Also, transiting Chiron and Taurus, opposing Neptune and Scorpio. This is an aspect where she could actually verify, yes, I was in this film. So this is helping her to make money as well in the film industry. The Nanny. Drescher and Jacobson created their own television show, The Nanny, in 1993. The show aired on CBS from 1993 to 1999, and Drescher became an instant star. In the sitcom, she played a woman named Fran Fine, who casually became the nanny of Margaret, Brighton, and Grace Sheffield. With her wit and her charm, she endeared herself to their widower father, stuffy, composed, proper British gentleman, and Broadway producer Maxwell Sheffield. So the nanny is represented by her moon in Capricorn in the third, trine Pluto in Virgo. So basically, this is the epitome of a television show, which is that moon in Capricorn in the third, about a father, Capricorn, who hires a nanny, which is represented by Pluto in Virgo. Virgo is the nanny of the zodiac. Also, Mercury in Virgo, sextile Venus in Scorpio is another aspect that is representing the nanny show. And then Jupiter, ruler of the third house, is conjoined to her sun in Libra and is forming a sextile with Uranus in Leo in the 10th. And that's representing her and her husband getting together and bringing this TV show to life. So again, these conjunctions, Jupiter, Sun, Mars, with Mars ruling that seventh house, she's the type that has to be side by side with her husband all the time. Cancer. After 2 years of symptoms and misdiagnoses by 8 doctors, Drescher was admitted to Los Angeles Cedars-Sinai Hospital on June 21st, 2000, after doctors diagnosed her with uterine cancer. She had to undergo an immediate radical hysterectomy to treat the disease. Drescher was declared cancer-free, and no post-operative treatment was ordered. So her Cancer is represented by this grand cross in her chart involving Uranus and Leo, Taurus South Node, Scorpio North Node, and Chiron in Aquarius. It's that square between her Chiron and Aquarius in the fourth and her Scorpio North Node that is representing the hysterectomy, which was said to be radical, which is that Aquarius in the fourth. Fourth house is the uterus. Also, she has Moon in Capricorn squaring her Sun and Mars in Libra. And that Moon in Capricorn is representing the deficiencies that were created and that triggered hormonal response or a dip in her hormones as a result of getting that hysterectomy. Transiting Pluto was in Sagittarius. It was forming a trine with her Uranus in Leo when she had the hysterectomy. And this is basically representing surgery that got rid of all of the cancer. And that basically gave her a new lease on life. Transiting Neptune in Aquarius in the fourth, trining her sun in Libra. That's the healing of her uterine problems, and also that could represent her being put on medication to regulate her hormones. Drescher wrote about her experiences in her second book, Cancer Schmancer. Her purpose for this book was to raise consciousness for people, to become more aware of the early warning signs of cancer, and to empower themselves. So, the fact that she's a published author is dealing with Gemini on the ninth house cusp, Mercury and Virgo ruling the ninth, which is dealing with a book on health, sextile Venus in Scorpio. Her whole aim is to empower people. Drescher says, I was going to learn what I needed to learn, ask questions, become partners with my doctor instead of having some kind of parent-child relationship. So this statement is represented by her Sun and Jupiter in Libra in the 12th, her wanting to form a partnership with her doctor, sextile Saturn in Sagittarius, her wanting to learn all that she can about Cancer. Saturn is conjoined to her third house cusp, and it's co-ruler of her third house because Capricorn starts in the third. And Saturn is the dispositor of the third house moon in Capricorn. That Capricorn energy is dealing with time. So she says she wants people to be able to diagnose cancer, or where cancer is diagnosed at stage 1. To promote happily divorced, Drescher performed the weddings of 3 gay couples in New York using the minister's license she received from the Universal Life Church. Drescher handpicked the 3 couples, all of whom were entrants into Fran Drescher's Love is Love gay marriage contest on Facebook. Based on the stories the couples submitted about how they met, why their relationship illustrated that love is love, and why they wanted to be married by her. So this is dealing with her ascendant conjoined to Sappho and Libra. Also Uranus conjunct Valentine in Leo, which is representing homosexual love. Saturn in Sagittarius, trine Uranus and Leo, her basically being a champion or promoting homosexual love. Jupiter and ascendant in Libra, sextile Uranus in Leo. Also, she has a mini grand trine involving Jupiter in Libra, Saturn in Sagittarius, and Chiron in Aquarius. So she is very much the advocate for LGBTQ rights. On June 21st, 2007, the 7th anniversary of her operation, Drescher launched the Cancer Schmancer Movement, a nonprofit organization dedicated to ensuring that all women's cancers be diagnosed while in stage 1, the most curable stage. So remember, I talked about that, and that's dealing with her Capricorn moon, her being very concerned with timing. She celebrated her 10th year of wellness on June 21st, 2010. So that's dealing with transiting South Node in Cancer, trining her North Node in Scorpio, Scorpio ruling surgery. Drescher says, we need to take control of our bodies, become greater partners with our physicians, and galvanize as one to let our legislators know that the collective female vote is louder and more powerful than that of the richest corporate lobbyists. She says her goal is to live in a time when women's mortality rates drop as their health care improves and early cancer detection increases. Her efforts as an outspoken healthcare advocate in Washington, D.C. helped get unanimous passage for H.R. 1245, and she is acknowledged in the congressional record. So that's dealing with her moon in Capricorn, trine Pluto in Virgo. Also, Mercury in Virgo, sextile Venus in Scorpio. In 2021, Drescher began her campaign to become the president of the Screen Actors Guild, American Federation of Television and Radio Artists Union, citing both her entertainment and political background. Her candidacy came from the Unite for Strength faction, and she ran against actor Matthew Modine. On September 2nd, 2021, SAG-AFTRA announced that Drescher had won the election. So her winning that election and becoming the president of SAG-AFTRA is dealing with her Saturn in Sagittarius, trining her Uranus in Leo. Also, Jupiter and ascendant in Libra, sextile Uranus in Leo. On July 13th, 2023, after SAG-AFTRA members overwhelmingly voted to authorize a strike action a week prior, the strike ended with a tentative deal between the union and the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers, which was approved by the SAG-AFTRA board. On July 25th, 2024, Drescher stated that SAG-AFTRA would begin a strike against major video game publishers, with the strike then going into effect the following day at 12:01 a.m. So her basically leading a strike for the actors in the union is represented by the Grand Cross in her chart involving Uranus in Leo, North Node in Scorpio, Chiron in Aquarius, South Node in Taurus. Keep in mind that Uranus and Aquarius rules unions, also strikes. You can't please everyone, Libra. Now, we know Libra is the people pleaser of the zodiac, but Libra has to understand that you can't please everyone all of the time, as shown here. 2 years into Drescher's tenure as the president of SAG-AFTRA, she came under fire by Shannon Doherty and other actors over their criticisms about the union's health insurance benefits. So Shannon said, I'm curious for people like me who have worked since they were 10 and paid dues to SAG-AFTRA, how when we aren't able to work for health reasons, why our union abandons us. Doherty who was diagnosed with cancer in 2020, wrote Instagram in March 2023. I think we could do better for all our members, and I think you're the person to do it. So she tagged Fran in that post. Doherty continued at the time, health insurance shouldn't be based on annual income. It's a lifetime contribution. And for me and many others, we had paid a lifetime of dues to only be canceled because we don't meet your current criteria. Not okay. Drescher did not address the drama, which occurred months before SAG-AFTRA authorized the strike after failing to reach an agreement with the Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers during contract negotiations. So the fact that she's caught up in this situation is dealing with that Grand Cross again. And with the North Node in Scorpio, Scorpio rules insurance. Also, transiting Chiron in Aries was opposing her Libra ascendant when Shannon made that post, and Shannon was in Aries. Living with Fran. Drescher returned to TV 5 years later, starring in USA Network's Living with Fran alongside Misty Treya, Ryan McPartlin, and Ben Feldman. The two-season sitcom followed a post-divorce Fran Reeves finding love with a man who was half her age. Living with Fran also served as a Nanny reunion, with Shaughnessy making a cameo as Drescher's ex-husband. So this show is represented by her moon in Capricorn, sextile Neptune in Scorpio. Trauma. In January 1985, two armed robbers broke into Drescher and Jacobson's Los Angeles apartment. While one ransacked their home, Drescher and a female friend were raped by the other robber at gunpoint. Jacobson was also physically attacked, tied up, and forced to witness the entire ordeal. It took Drescher many years to recover, and it took her even longer to tell the story to the press. She was paraphrased as saying in an interview with Larry King that although it was a traumatic experience, she found ways to turn it into something positive. In her book, Cancer Schmancer, the actress writes, my whole life has been about changing negatives into positives. According to Drescher, her rapist, who was on parole at the time of the crime, was returned to prison and given 2 life sentences. So this rape and robbery is represented by the Grand Cross that she has in her chart. And then also she has Jupiter conjoined to the Arabic part of private enemies. So I'm wondering if the people that robbed her were connected to someone she knew. I wouldn't be surprised. Also, on the day, well, during the month that this occurred, because I couldn't find the exact date of when this robbery occurred, but in the month of January 1985, transiting Chiron was in Gemini in her eighth house and was forming a quincunx with her moon in Capricorn, which can deal with the two guys that broke into her home, and they might have even entered through a window with that Gemini theme. Transiting Black Moon Lilith was in Aries and was squaring her Cancer midheaven, which is dealing with the home break in as well as the violation of her privacy. And then transiting Neptune was on her moon in Capricorn, which is dealing with her being victimized at home and the theft that occurred within her home. Second marriage. On September 7th, 2014, Drescher and Shiva Ayudurai participated in a ceremony at Drescher's beach house. Both tweeted that they had married, and the event was widely reported as such. Ayudurai later said it was not a formal wedding or marriage, but a celebration of their friendship in a spiritual ceremony with close friends and her family. The couple first met over a year ago at an event hosted by the one and only Deepak Chopra. I was speaking on sages and scientists. In fact, talking about innovation and the fact that we need to more universally look at the models of innovation. Ayudurai explained during a recent visit to HuffPost Live. And Fran heard my talk and we fell in love. And we've been together since that talk. So this connection is represented by his sun in Sagittarius in sextile with her sun and Jupiter in Libra, especially the spiritual connection that the two of them have. His sun in Sagittarius is in trine with her Uranus in Leo, which is representing the friendship. His Uranus in Virgo trine her moon in Capricorn, which is representing the friendship as well. And it based this Uranus in both of these aspects deal with the fact that they were magnetically drawn to each other. Also common interests. His Neptune conjoined to her Venus and North Node in Scorpio, which is representative of the spiritual connection as well. Now, that Neptune influence can make things feel like, oh, this is like a fairy tale romance. This is like a dream come true until the whole, allure wears off, or you could say until the honeymoon period is over. Divorce. So every day is a celebration with Fran, Ayudurai said. Every day is almost a romantic hangout with her. We're always laughing, always enjoying ourselves. So that's represented by his sun in Sagittarius, sextile her Uranus in Leo. The couple separated 2 years later. And I'm not surprised because he's a Sagittarius. And Sagittarius men, they can be all head over heels in love in the beginning. And then when that honeymoon period wears off or is over, then he loses interest. Now, his Mercury in Sagittarius is squaring her Mercury in Virgo. So this can produce problems with communication. He might have felt like she was nagging him a bit too much, trying to monitor his every move. His Venus in Capricorn squaring her Mars in Libra, that could show that he really wasn't that affectionate. Also, where he's very much about being on his own. And with her Mars in Libra, she's very much about being in a relationship. His Mars in Sagittarius squaring her Mars in Libra. Basically, this is showing that he was more about freedom and she's more about being in a committed relationship. So that didn't work out. His Uranus and Virgo squaring her Saturn and Sagittarius. This aspect prompted the separation from the heart. It doesn't matter what you look like or what you speak like. It's what's in your heart that counts. And I think that message is probably more important today than ever. She exclusively told Us Weekly of the Nanny's core messages and continue fan following. And to treat kids respectfully and honor them as human beings and not talk down to them is important. To be tolerant of those who don't happen to be like you is a daily practice. To make kindness and compassion your compass is really about a daily practice and the reason why we are on this earth. So this statement is represented by her Jupiter in the 12th house, which basically makes her have a great deal of compassion towards others and ascendant. in Libra, sextile Uranus in Leo, Leo ruling children. So that concludes my reading on Fran Drescher. Thank you, Matt, for sponsoring this reading. And let me know what you think in the comments section. Stay tuned for more videos. And if you would like a reading, you could go to my website. The link is in the description section. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, and I'll be back.